Hi friends, welcome back to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you very much to our followers, subscribers, whatever terms you want to use. Thank you for supporting us and being here with us. A special shout out to our patrons who support us monetarily and occasionally organize in Discord to try and cause me trouble. Thank you to Adele, Al, Alexander, Angfalith, Baby Dragon, Bernie, Buck, Chris, Clara, Doc the Undead, Doggo DeLune, Emil, Funzo Suva Ali, George, Jack, James, Jenny, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, John, Josh, Julian, Catfeathers, Crazyman1772, Magical Hats, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Monster Reborn, Mozart D Minor, Noba, Perry, Puppeteer, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Riafia, Ryan, Shane, Shaksara, Swords of Revealing Light, Terran Stevens, Thomas, Usuf-sama, Vortex, and Zoltan, something, trap card.
We talk about Swords of Revealing Light for a second because that is maybe the single worst piece of game design in any card game in history.
Is that the one that just goes, you can't play now?
You can't play for 3 turns. Do you know how many turns a Yu-Gi-Oh game takes to win? Like, about 2.
But was the challenge just your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card?
I imagine it's something like that. So yes, there were instigators who started a coup, and fortunately it looks like it hasn't gone through, so I don't have to put anybody down.
It doesn't mean we won't, though.
That's true. So yes, thank you everybody for supporting us. Yikes, says chat. Actually, speaking of chat, and before I forget, quick shout out to the Story Told podcast, which is also the Twitch channel name, even though it's not a podcast, it's a Twitch channel. Don't get confused. They are going to be starting up a Promethean the Created actual play starting next week. Twitch guys, basically an hour from when we start. YouTube guys on Fridays. Don't worry about it. And so they're going to be doing Session 0 character creation next week. So YouTube guys, when you're seeing that this Friday, unless of course you're not watching this one, February 4th. It's happening February 4th. 8 p.m. Eastern over at their Twitch channel, and follow them there. They've got a big old crew. They're getting started, and they're just going. They're just getting started, so give them some love, give them some follows, support them, because believe it or not, you can support multiple content creators and APs and stuff like that. So that's what
I know, right?
It's called The Body Electric.
The Body Electric, which is obviously, well, at least for Ash and I,
name.
Yeah,
Sisters of Mercy song.
Sisters of Mercy reference, yes. So yes, everybody go say hi to them, follow them. I don't know if there's other stuff. If you're in Twitch, the Story Told podcast can yell at you and answer any of your questions. On with the show. When we last left the Coven, they were doing a whole bunch of shit, but then Ash was like, hey, by the way, we need to do a quick rewind. I should have done, and it's like, oh yeah, that's fair. We did talk about that. So we're starting with post-cognition on the spooky tyrannical robe cloak thing that Salazar Valdez, oops, sorry, you don't know his last name yet, but Salazar.
Nope, I heard it.
That Salazar has. Yeah.
I was assuming it was Johnson.
That probably Smith.
Smith, yeah.
So yes.
An affectation.
Because as Ash pointed out, it's like, hey, yeah, we totally talked about that and we never did. It's a good end.
Yeah. I realized we didn't do it when looking at my aspirations at the end of the game.
So
last name is Razalos.
Okay, that's what
his full name is a palindrome. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, I'm here for
good
it.
Good Vorin name.
I'm here for it.
Well, not a good Vorin name. Too symmetrical.
Too symmetrical, yeah. Anyways, hi, we're nerds. Moving right along. Ash is whipping up this spell, which does bring us to the big question of how big of a duration are you putting on this thing?
Well, the spirit inside it had given us like a ballpark as to when he received it.
Yeah, 300,
like how long he'd had it.
300 sacrifices ago. Yeah, so 300 weeks ago, which fortunately, because of the way post-cognition goes, so long as the object or the subject that you're aiming at has not changed, which, small spoiler, we're going to have a gimme here. It's an artifact. It doesn't really change. If it changes, something's up. So Gisela will kind of luck into that, and for our purposes, we're not going to stress about it. But you still have to aim at a time or date, and then you have the duration of the spell to maneuver around.
I was going to reach for like a month to try to cover the before and after, and in case I don't have the date pinpointed.
Mm-hmm.
How much reach is that?
Gisela was also present when Legba was able to get the spirit to recall the name of the previous owner.
Mm-hmm.
That might help. Perhaps
not for finding the time at which it was given.
Well, what I mean is, it frequently in the context of in the Rookery, and then even in this game, right, into the West, there's been a possible combination of shifting the odds and post-cognition in order to find what you want. So
yeah, that's actually very, very true. Yeah, if did we do that as a combined spell though? No, because it was just we were using time with fate.
The fate's higher, so it can just sort of roll in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't mind that. Thank you, Ralph. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. And just kind of ballparking for, I'm gonna throw a dart. Yeah. And hey, yeah, I'm big into that. So yes, throwing dartboard. Yeah, it was about 6 years, 300. Yeah, 6 years ago. And some guy named
Hmara.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. Won't affect any of your die rolling or anything, but yeah, we just add some fade in to try and nudge us in the right direction.
Okay, so for reach, I don't even need to do this instantly.
Right. So, I mean, you can take the 3 hours to cast and save some reach. But I mean, really, the only reach you need is duration and whether or not you definitely want the ability to scrub.
I'm going to live a month of this man's life now.
Well, and it's not even it's not even his life.
It's the artifact's life.
Artifacts.
Sitting there with the artifact.
Well, we're back in the crate again. Perfect.
Okay, so I did still keep it as ritual just so that I'm not overreaching.
Sure. That also helps because technically after this is when you did your summoning with... No, we haven't done any paradox. So duration and then scrubbing. And then 2.
It's 5.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I would give it willpower though and make it 8.
Okay.
Okay. 5 successes.
Ooh, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, mark that down as a arcane XP, or excuse me, no, an arcane beat. And then
we'll take what you're given.
Yep. Do you want to? Well, you automatically recover that willpower, so there's that.
Oh, nice.
Right, because that's just from any exceptional spell cast. But then, do you want to add some additional step in duration, giving you that actual year to scrub through, or?
Yeah, I think. See, because the -2 for duration would have only put it at a week, right?
I have to look here at the spell. Was that?
It's a potency spell.
Okay. Yes. So you would have that for a day.
Okay, then yeah, I'll take this step just to make it a full week.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Because I would like to get a little bit before and after.
Right. Get some context. Mm-hmm. I like that. Cool. Yeah. So in my head, and feel free to hijack and change this imago, it's not so much of looking for a date, but throwing in the fate. You're trying to find that divergence, where this thing was traveling along and then all of a sudden it took a new path when it got a new owner. And it's like, okay, that's what I'm going to center this spell on so I get the context across it. And using, Gisela's normal thread analogy, it's like, oh, here's the knot and we're going to go here and look at all that. And so we see honestly, he would blend in with any other member of, Mexico City or anything south of the border, so to speak. Same, the standard, the normal kind of Mexican skin tone, dark hair. He's got some age on him, but you're not quite able to pick up a lot of detail because the only thing that's really in focus is the robes that are hanging off of him. And he wears it very much like a cloak. It is drawn back. There's like a sash around the back of it, around the waist of it to keep it behind him, and it's held open. And you can definitely tell this is an older guy, but clearly keeps himself fit, showing off a little bit, that old man muscle kind of vibe. And I think at the moment you can kind of vaguely hear words in Spanish, which unfortunately Giz is terrible at. Well, probably not bad at, but it's conversational, not what sounds like, not necessarily a sermon, but it's got that impassioned vibe of somebody speaking about something important to them that you don't get from talking in a general store about the weather, right? Then there is hands coming up in a kind of defensive posture, some pushing and shoving, and kind of using the same rules that we have with scrying, the ability to kind of turn around and shift. And the room that you are in is, again, still kind of on that hazy level of things, but it is clearly a prepared space. There's a lot of symmetry to it, and there's a very clear altar within the center of it. It is indoors, but the walls are painted in, bright, colorful details. And there is another figure in the room, and the pushing escalates. There's a separation, and then voices are raised, and you're still making out the other half. Well, you're not making out anything because it's all in Spanish, but making out the fact that this is clearly an argument. There's pushing, shoving, and then there's a gunshot. And you see it in the man's chest, falls, drops, and pushes himself up. And there is a very feral lunge forward, another gunshot, and he drops. As he is bleeding out, there's another figure, hands coming down, ripping and rending at the cloak, which kind of gets thrown over a shoulder, and so your perspective shifts. You can recognize more or less the shape of Salazar. The cloak is over his shoulder as he comes out, and he's D&D looting the body. He's pulling ornaments off of a belt, including a fairly recognizable dagger. There's some other accoutrement, some other accessories and things like that. And you follow Salazar's body as he moves through the room, opening old wooden chests and just ransacking the place. And that goes on for a little while. There's some other men who come in who Salazar, very kind of badass moment, does not look up at. It's just a drawn revolver, and the gun goes off several more times. And he continues looting the place, reloading. He looks like a man on a mission. Excuse me. Not a recognizable dagger. Or actually, yeah.
He had the dagger before, you said.
Yeah, notably, now that I'm thinking over it, yes, recognizable dagger, probably not the same one. But yeah.
A similar style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And loots the room of basically anything that isn't nailed down, isn't, is not the altar itself, and then moves outside. He meets up with, well, he steps over several bodies of other worker, folks who look not necessarily religious in any way, but more like people who were in and around this space, and steps out, and you see him meet up with, well, passing by more people who seem to have gotten into a scrap, and he unloads his stuff into a large cart, starts talking with other people which act and move around him. It's clearly the band of folks he was with, and they start loading stuff up into actually fairly familiar to you crates, like that. And so that wagon was likely where a lot of this stuff has gone. In that wagon, you can see some of the stuff that you'd seen before, some of the stuff that was taken from like Catholic churches, big golden crucifixes and stuff like that. Within that week,
do we get his first sacrifice with the cloak?
Yeah. Fast forward, zipping through stuff, getting out of whatever town. And it does look like a fairly large town, so it may have actually been Mexico City, but with Gisela not necessarily knowing and no recognizable landmarks besides the robe itself being in focus. There's some time spent inside of a crate, which makes the scrubbing much easier. And then when you see daylight again, it's definitely more starry night, and you can see fire. Inside, or the cloak is drawn out, put on, sashed up across the front, and you can see the more recognizable familiar dagger that is then thrust into a body. And a heart removed, and and on your end, no supernatural investigations can really happen other than watching it.
Yeah, can you use Mage Sight?
You can.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that you can turn on, because that's just changing your senses, but you can't do scrutiny or something like that.
You can do that according to Science and Sorcery.
In post-cognition?
Science and Sorcery, you can.
Interesting. Or did we not allow spells? I'm trying to remember what we did for the Rookery.
I was able to do some scrutinies in the Rookery.
Did we?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just trying to be consistent. Because it does make sense to be able to see the symbols that were there. But yeah, if you have a specific...
On page 25.
Perfect. Where is page numbers in... Oh, way down here. Cool. Oh, yeah.
I think I would initially just look at them with Mage Sight to see if anything stands out.
Mm-hmm. And at this retcon, you didn't actually have the willpower at the time to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of sweep that all under the rug and not worry about that. But, and this is a time that you could go back to later. But turning on your Mage Sight, what were you looking for, if anything specific?
I want to see, if I can see anything magical happening during the actual sacrifice. Is this doing a spell?
Oh, that's true. Would peripheral Mage Sight activate? Yeah, because you were as if you were there. Yeah, that's true. So yes, there is definitely something supernatural that happens. You can feel it. You get a ping from... What would that be? Death? Yeah. Well, especially because it doesn't align perfectly with an Arcana. It feels something over here with Death, but also a little bit of Prime that you're not quite able to nail down. It doesn't match perfectly 10 out of 10 to an Arcana. Pause as we say hello to Ziggy.
Yo.
And so there's this odd sensation of this kind of mixed use Arcana that doesn't match. I mean, you've spent a year studying this stuff and talking with Egrock, and there are 10 arcana, and here's this thing that I'm death, but I'm also prime, and it's like that's not a thing. And it's not like a spell that is using multiple arcana. This is some weird thing in between. Ziggy getting comfortable. Deal with it.
Some sort of other magic.
Right. Yeah. Because
is it coming from the cloak or the dagger, or the conjunction?
Specifically, it is coming from the sacrifice itself. Yeah. Trying to think of the best way to put this. Well, actually, because you have Prime Sight, you do recognize there's no awakened magic happening here. Something is happening with the way everything is working out, something about the ritual itself that is definitely doing something supernatural. What exactly it is, you're not quite able to nail down. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, so it's Death, Prime, and probably Fate all kind of bundled together in this Arcana, which, considering your own connection to Fate, is like, this is no kind of reaction to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just confused because like the artifact or whatever isn't doing awakened magic?
Correct. Not in this event.
Can I go back and look at the guy who was wearing it initially?
Yeah. Flying back to the start of your spell.
Yeah. With Mage Sight here, can I see any magic? Is he a wizard? Is what I'm trying to get. I mean, I can't look at his soul.
With your Mage Sight, you can see
like looking around the room, what I can see on him. Yeah.
Right. And because again, it's just the cloak primarily, you know. So, but skimming through Fate doesn't appear to actually. I imagine that you see him have a dramatic failure when talking to Salazar. Prime definitely notices that the cloak itself is a very, very good yantra. Is a very, very potent yantra. Let's not give it good. And you do recognize that he does appear to have some awakened spells on him. And you can recognize actually that you are in a hallow.
Okay. Well, from this, I'm going to draw the conclusion that this guy was probably a mage. I don't know if it's right, but signs point to yes.
He's at least mage adjacent. Adjacent.
So now I just want to know if Salazar came here to kill this guy for this, or if this was just like a nice bonus he got in a raid.
Right.
But I can't know that because I can't know his mind.
Right.
It was a sweet drop.
Dude, free epics. Anything further?
No, I don't think so. Beyond that, I would just want to relay it back to everyone else and see what they can do with this information now. Because
at this point now, everybody has had a couple days to think about it. Since that was back on Wednesday or whatever, and we're now here on Saturday? Friday? One of those days. Cool. So to shift gears a little bit, because we're going to be coming back to Ash in a minute. Before we do that, what is everybody else up to? Chris being kind of under the weather, and I know what the big one thing that Isabel's doing. Is there any other stuff besides that has come to mind?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
I think that scene plus helping others if they...
Sure. Cool. So then we jump over to Cloak and Cloak and Theo. and set the scene and discussion and what may be happening there.
Ooh, yeah.
So we as a coven have decided that we need to fix the mine. And through some persuasion and opening of doors by Isabel, Theo has agreed, conflicted, but has agreed to work on this project. And the idea that Theo and Legba had come up with was to summon a supernal. Off screen, we did the discussions. It doesn't sound like this is going to be like a perfecting. This is going to be a little more than what a rank 3 would be able to do. So that's kind of boosted our difficulty a little. This is Theo's first summoning. He's just going for a 4 right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
We've got powerful help.
I mean, that's only
Yes.
because you decided you wanted it to be a spell effect rather than relying on a boon.
Well, looking through the boons that Shades provided, it wasn't really a good fit. And we tried to look at it from the point of view of preventing or staving off the death of the mine, but that Drew had a more literal interpretation where we want to create more silver in the rock.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, that's what you're doing.
well, and that's because you're talking about using a matter supernal being.
Yeah, I thought that was the way to go, considering we're making changes in matter.
I mean, if you're dealing with the death of a thing, then you need a death.
Okay, so now that throws chaos here. No, we're just stay with it. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with the matter.
spreadsheet.
Already
not
done the math.
house.
I mean, you have equal ranks, so
Yeah.
and also just because they're aspected to that primary arcanum, if you can guarantee, because you have attained disciplehood
Mhm.
in both death and matter, if you can guarantee that it also has death,
So
you can do that.
But like Theo's plan was to summon a Death Shade with matter capabilities as well.
Oh, see, that's a different thing entirely.
Well, that was always Theo's plan.
Yeah.
I don't know that Greg voiced that plan, though.
Yeah, it's like I gotta know, man. It's
Yeah.
okay. Let's go with the rank 4 because that's way cooler, anyways.
Sure.
It's also what's in my notes.
Also a little more dangerous.
What? Dangerous? No, you're
The-
fine.
Yeah, such things always have a cost, and the leaden key isn't usually, or the leaden coin isn't usually paid easily.
That's right.
So
It's the lead
and-
price.
yes, so in preparation for this, Cloak was going to arrange for the mine to be unoccupied for a period of time, and we're going to go deep underground. We figured 10 or 12 hours for the summoning to take place, based on the spreadsheet I prepared, because I'm a big geek and I love math.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any excuse to make a spreadsheet, I'm all over it.
Oh yeah.
So that's our plan. And while Cloak was doing that, Theo was going to be like assembling tools and ambiance and like getting stuff ready,
Thank you.
move everything down into the mine and begin that work.
Cool. So for Craig, I definitely need a int plus occult roll. And what is Legba doing to clear out the mine, or at least a portion of the mine? Because you don't necessarily need the entirety, depending on what you guys want to do.
That's right. So Cloak also wants to help with establishing occult correspondence. So there's a possibility for that. I think that'd be good. Give some support, dice rolling and stuff like that.
Normally, I'd be on board, but you have neither death nor matter. So without having and not a Moros.
I'm sorry. Even just understanding aspects of it through occult. If I'm assisting the Moros who's doing it.
Yeah, I guess because a lot of the let me jump over to
It's alignment with magic. That's how I thought of it. As opposed to establish, like if Legbrother were to try and create a domain,
Mhm.
right?
Well,
And a sanctum, a moral aspected sanctum, it wouldn't seem appropriate to me, but
no,
go ahead.
I get where you're coming. I am basing this literally just off of the book, bringing up use the description of the paths for guidance, but those are it's from the path. I get where you're coming from. I can understand what are the key symbols of a of a Moros and bringing that in. I'm just gonna just knock off like two dice from your help, just being adjacent, because I know you've got the road ability too, which is gonna help a bunch too. So Craig's gonna roll.
Me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool. We can definitely do that too, because I mean that could literally be what? Oh yeah. Well, have you thought about this, and this? Just additional information, which is a big.
That's what I was thinking of.
So
okay, great.
So we've got 3 already from Theo, and then based on your roll, we'll have additional for Theo to roll.
Yeah.
And then prior to actually beginning the summoning, Theo was going to do like a dust bath cleansing.
Ooh, I like that.
Like in the mine, using the earth of the mine
Ooh,
to just ritually prepare herself.
Well, that can't be right.
Yeah, that's right.
Whoa.
Yeah, look at that. Look at all those ones.
So that is 8 dice. No, excuse me, 6 dice rolled as wrote and getting 1 success.
Technically 12. But hey, that makes it so you get -2 successes on the total needed for the summons.
Considering that it's the 1 success, we're just going to roll with that instead of it being an additional die to her roll. Yeah, we'll just, and that way it does make it nice and even.
Isn't that how it works though? When you establish a cult correspondence, you reduce the number of successes by
specifically because
half of the dice.
I'm looking at you helping her do it as a
help I see what you're saying.
But,
yeah, that's right.
No, in this case,
misunderstood. That's right.
Because this will make it a nice round even number.
Yeah. Teamwork would give her a die to her roll. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
So,
so how many are
two.
reducing for preparation?
For your spreadsheet.
No,
I love it.
Odds and everything? Yes. Okay.
But also the thing talking about your cleansing, also that's very Moros. It's like, oh yes, I'm not really burying myself, but I am. I like that as a cleansing. I like that a lot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like she'd be just a plain rough spun robe, no ornamentation or anything like that. Might call it a shroud.
That's exactly what I was about to call it.
Rubbing the dirt into it and all that other stuff. So she's
I love that.
Prepared and mentally centered on the earth and the symbolism of Stygia.
I like that. All right. So for the jumping back real quick to Ralph. So you are setting out basically like the deepest part of the mine.
Yeah, I think considering what Craig just said about it going underground or going into the deep in the earth. I should clarify. Do you mean carving out an area? Like, are we going to create a cool like globular pocket where nobody's going to be, and you're going to summon the shade into a cave inside, like deep in the mine?
Craig wasn't planning that, but now he's thinking.
Because what I first imagined is that we need to block off the area where the collapse happened, and you want to summon it right there. However, now that I think about it, it isn't necessary for the shade to appear precisely where that Moira was. We could be anywhere in the mine, and it could cast this effect, right?
Theo's thought actually was to like be in one of the silver veins.
Okay.
Deepest possible.
So at the deepest, at the end of a line where they're still digging and they're still pulling out ore, to just sort of extend that further is kind of mentally the imago that she's.
I like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Because if we went through the wall, right? Because they're digging into, and there's going to be a vein, right? And you can access a vein by removing some of the rock that is covering it. So there's likely going to be some connection past the point at which it seems like the vein is exhausted.
It's all right. Yeah, it's like mechanically, it's not going to have an effect. It's up to you. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's all
just a narrative consequence. Like if Cloak is going to get people to not go in that area where they're actively mining, or it wouldn't matter because if we're through the rock.
No, Theo wanted to use the existing mine shaft.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Great. Okay. All right. So then to answer your question, Drew,
Mm-hmm.
He would approach the the foreman for the shift, and I think it's 10 or 12 hours. So I think we're going to start at night. Is that what you said, Craig? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're going to start at night. So he'd approach, I think, third shift, right? That's Tahoma. Is that right?
Oh, in the other mine.
Well, I guess we could do it in hours.
Yeah, because
that's right.
You have a little more sway over there.
That's right. Then that's what I would do. I would just approach. Who would it be? Sanite or Miss CJ? I don't know. Yeah, Cloak would just pull rank.
Mm-hmm.
And let his counterpart know. He'd have to let both of them. Oh, because it's at night. He's the foreman of the following shift.
So the whole shift
extremely convenient. Yeah.
Nobody
totally.
comes back for 10 hours. Yeah.
Yep. He would say you need to lead him on an extended meditation, or do something else. Like everybody gets the day off, and he would tell them that he needs to cleanse the mind. He needs to, with the assistance of Legba, provide for good fortune in the future and open a way so that the town can maintain its prosperity.
Cool. I like that. It's not a lie. It's not the whole truth, but yeah, I like that. Cool.
Now, we had been thinking about some possible complications, and if a mine wasn't producing for an extended period, that might raise some questions with the Anrites.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you have a plan to address that possibility?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to that. We can do that after this subject.
Okay.
Because that will also let us determine how long this actually takes. Because we were planning 10, 12 hours, but...
Right. But
Maybe
he was
you guys
actually worried that, like, in the middle of the summoning, one of the Enrights might come in and say, "Why isn't anybody working?" And then you see things they really shouldn't be seeing.
It's true. Thank you for putting another thing in my quiver. Thank you, Craig.
I've been playing with you for a while.
Yeah.
That's one thing Cloak additionally wanted to do, is he wanted to send a message
Oh, okay.
to Enright, considering it's the middle of the night. If there was an opportunity to talk to him directly in advance, he would do that. But if not, he would send a message and have Sanite and Messije be prepared to engage him, considering every time there's been a formal interaction between Les Enfants and Enright, he's had both of them present,
Right.
Sanite and Messije, right? And insisted on him treating them with respect. So he'd have them be prepared to let Enright know that that Cloak is conducting, Ungun Cloak is conducting a blessing and doesn't want to be disturbed.
Okay. I like that.
Cool.
All right.
Yep. So this is easy 1-2 punches here with Ralph rolling before, and then Theo or Craig whatever successes carry over and add to your dice pool.
All right, so it's going to last a long time. Go ahead.
A quick question, because you'd brought this up, and I wanted to feel how you thought. Do you think? Do you plan on using the mind weaving to keep your guys' willpower up?
Yeah, so if that's something that Legba would consider to not be hubristic in this particular case, then he would do it.
Right.
Otherwise, no, because he thinks that exhausting ourselves is part of devoting ourselves to the task.
And that is what I was leaning
to do
towards.
it.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mastigos, right? So strength and growth through
Wearing yourself out.
adversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of where I was leaning towards it too.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he wouldn't do that then. In the event that it seems like we're going to die or something like, or exhaust ourselves completely and fall apart, then he'd probably be like, okay, we can't stop, right? We'll get to the point of exhaustion. Kind of like what happened when we were in Isabel's Oneros, and he didn't cast Mental Shield until it seemed like, all right, now we're going to get disrupted here,
Right.
and we're not going to be able to finish this task. So
Okay.
yeah,
I like that.
you have to try it first.
You
can't assume that you aren't sufficient.
Right. And that was where I was coming at it. It's like, you don't know if you could do it mundanely until you've actually done it. And then I need to. Okay, cool.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Let's
But
start.
however, in order to make sure that he is able to support,
Yes.
they want to be synced up, and it doesn't seem extreme to him to establish a ritual focus and connection.
Right.
So let's cast that. It's going to cast a ruling spell. And let's see. Ooh, yeah, you add potency. That's nice. Let's see. Okay. Improvise spell. Gnosis in mind. Make sure that they are connected and on the same page.
Yep.
And have joined mutual understanding of the process and each other's capacities. Ooh, yeah. I am going to cast this 2 rounds, and so I think this is the first time that Theo will observe Legba intoning in the high speech.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. That is ruling. I'll make it last. So the reach will be for instant cast, scale, and advanced duration.
We'll need more than just advanced duration, right?
It's a duration spell.
Is it a duration spell? I thought it was a potency spell. I'm going to increase that potency. So increase the potency to 4.
Ritual mind? Nope. What is that?
Ritual focus.
Focus. That's
Just like combining our
it is
minds
a
or
duration
something?
spell.
Okay, cool.
Specifically, it literally calls it a variant of telepathy, and it basically makes sure everybody's in normal use for teamwork on spell casting. In this case, it's Cloak is basically able to add Gnosis into this without necessarily having death or matter. Yep. Which, you do not need to add potency to this at all, because it's not going to. Yeah.
All right, cool. Great. Sounds good then.
Yeah, when I read that, it's a variation of telepathy. I'm like, yeah, that's that's right up Cloak's alley. So, cool. No problem.
Alrighty.
2 successes.
Goes off.
Yeah. And now we can start rolling. And how many successes do we need?
22.
All right. And how many safe rolls do we have?
I'm protecting from incursion by 2, so we'll have 10 safe rolls.
Okay. Easy.
Composure's 5, resolve is 3.
That's just 2 successes an hour.
2.2.
Fair.
Precisely.
Nerd. Cool.
All right, so you roll first and then I roll?
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Just flat Gnosis.
Sure.
I'm putting
just
willpower into this.
Just straight Gnosis?
No. Just
Ralph
okay.
is-
Yep.
But I'm rolling Death and Gnosis, right?
Correct. Well, technically matter. But
Yeah, shade with matter. Either
okay.
one, it doesn't matter. It's the same.
Yeah.
One die.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
Already get 3.
Yep. 3 successes.
Second hour.
Oh wait, no, 2 successes.
Ralph's rolls are plus dice for you. Greg.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll
So
one
roll
more.
one more die.
Thank you, Chris. I took a moment. I was like, wait, hang on. Okay, so 2 successes.
2 successes.
Second roll.
An extra 2. Oh, 3 successes. Uh-oh.
Oh, man. Third roll.
There we go. Oh no.
You're not doing great.
Ooh, geez.
You might want to start adding some willpower there, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. Well,
I
I
thought you
saved
had
my
that.
will. I saved my willpower in case we really needed it.
Gotcha.
But we're there now, so
Yeah, Legs isn't using it every round. All right. Number 4.
Mhm.
Damn.
At least it's not a dramatic success, failure.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. That's 8 though.
Number 5.
Oh no. 9.
Number 6.
This is the other reason I wanted to rank 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 13.
Number 7. This is the exhaustion of my willpower. Yes.
Whoa, 21.
Okay.
Oh,
well done.
yes. That was oh yeah, coming through.
Nearly
All
there.
right. We can do this without casting that spell.
Oh, you muted yourself.
She got 3 more hours.
John Paul.
There we
go. John Paul there at the last, like, here's my foreknosis. I'm spent.
And
Success.
so am I.
Yep. And how many rolls was that total there, Ralph? Because you were counting.
That was 8, wasn't it?
8.
Yeah.
So
that was
8 hours. See, you guys had
Mhm.
4 more. Chris is right about
It was sketchy there at the first.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, especially because you guys started when, like 10.
Yeah.
So 8
Yeah,
hours
so you guys
later,
sounds about right.
yeah, we're pre-dawn hours, which we'll avoid the Helm's Deep reference here, but the you know, as I've mentioned before, that there's that building tension, especially like we have our comparison of episodes. You know, previously we had Gisela summoning up a rank 1, and there was some tension at this point, especially with, you know, Cloak is there to help. Also had some downsides, but because of fluent high speech helps bolster. I think you got a net 1 from that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, net -1 necessary success.
And then the fact that this is a rank 4 and just the tension is just intense. Both of you completely out of willpower, just drained, and the tension kind of snaps. And I cut over to my notes. Notes? Notes, where'd you go? There we go. And excuse me. A figure steps from basically the darkness of the room, because I imagine there may be like a couple candles set out, but not a lot of light. This is a grave, right, Craig?
Mhm. Yep.
Yep. And zoop. What would he look like? Since you went and changed over to a death thing on me. Fine. Actually, yeah, I know exactly who basically steps out. It looks like a very classic appearance of death. Right?
Ooh,
The
cool.
black robe, the skull face within, the scythe and everything. But as it steps out of the darkness, the thing that catches your attention is the fact that the robes seem, you know, just utterly jet black. It's Vanta black. It is absorbing light, right? And so you see it more for the shadow that it makes in front of the darkly lit, dimly lit walls. The skull, though, as soon as that face kind of turns towards you, you notice, especially as it moves, it has this kind of metallic, almost mercury-like reflection. And I imagine, you know, Cloak Legba being the assistant is, you know, to the side, whereas Baba Sarah's smack dab in the center of its attention, and it looks at you. And the mirror shine mercury thing, you see your own face reflected, warped in the skull. And you definitely have a moment of, the fact that it is your face that's twisting up in eye sockets and stuff like that, but there's also across the skull itself, you know, your face kind of twisted into almost the skeletal rictus grin. And it looks down at you as I says, I, the progression of all things from energy to matter to dust. and the scythe comes down, and it settles on your shoulder, just like the point, right? And you can feel the weight of it. And it's like, it's a moment of, is this how I lose my head, or I'm about to be knighted kind of thing.
Mojer 5, Theo doesn't flinch.
Right. And what is it that you wish?
This mine is dying. I wish to extend its life.
Head kind of...
The mortals that live here pull silver from the earth. But the silver is running out. It is my wish to replenish it.
Hold please. Again, I was even mentioning it when we were getting prepped. It's like, don't you hate it when inspiration hits you before the game? It really sucks when it hits you smack dab in the middle of the game. You're like, ooh, what if?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, roll with it. You can always cut here and go to somebody else, like Isabel, if you want.
Nope, I'm good. And so it nods and says, you wish a gift of silver.
Precisely silver ore in the earth for the work of hands to retrieve it.
Yeah.
This is a humble request. And it's, skeletal and, again, Mercury-esque, reaches into just the stone and gouges out a chunk from the wall, which you guys might want to cover up later, right? Because it is very clearly like claw marks through.
Oh, okay.
And holds up this big lump of silver in front of you guys. And, well, specifically in front of Baba Sarah. Show me pure silver.
I'm not. Does it want me to perfect that silver? So
Yes.
the perfected silver I already have
Cool.
is sufficient, correct?
Yeah, correct. It wants you to perfect that silver. That is a Matter 3 spell, by the way.
Yes. But I also have Ghost Gates. Just with
And it takes 3 days.
It's going to take you a bit.
Oh, wait, what? It wants you to do it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Unless,
Okay.
I mean, you can summon them again later.
Just rolled a bunch of dice.
Double power.
Let's roll more dice
Double
once.
power to be fine.
It's Gnosis plus matter.
He didn't say for how long, or even how much.
Mm-mm.
Whoop.
He said do it.
Touch.
And this would be.
If you have Signs and Sorcery open, it's page 61.
Thank
Just so you
you.
can have the reference.
Yes.
Just for everyone's knowledge, Ziggy is
Frantic
inside of
thing.
my blanket wrap and curled up over top and around my arm.
So you cannot move the arm.
Yeah, I'm mouseless right now.
Yeah, that's the perfected material, but what's the spell to do it?
Yeah, exactly that.
Page 25?
61.
Oh, 61.
Oh, in the perfected form.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfected
It's
form.
the alloys that are 4 dots.
Yes. Okay.
We are sweeping under the rug the technical requirement of it needing to be a single continuous piece of the metal that fits within the
Yeah.
scale. It's like, okay, it's the ore, but whatever.
Well, but wouldn't he have the ability to just
I like that,
scrape out
yes.
silver
Yes.
and leaving spongy rock behind?
Ooh, yes, 100% that. That's super cool.
Okay. Let's work up a spell as I work frantically.
Yeah, I mean, it's Gnosis plus matter plus whatever Yantos you want to throw at it. Because
Yeah.
your reach is going to handle the instant. So,
So I have my perfected bone wand or a cane,
Mhm.
Which identifies very strongly with Stygia,
just a little bit.
and I'm exerting my will on it using it as a rod.
Yep.
Would that be a +2 or?
I'm pretty sure. It's a 9 again. Yes,
Nine
used
again.
as a
Plus one to the
magical
9
tool
again.
for the appropriate path. Mage gains a
Cool.
9 again.
But it'll count as a 1
Plus
dice
1. Plus 1.
tool.
Mhm.
Okay. And the whole ritual space is prepared for this summoning. I could use that as an yantra as well, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think considering its current state, it's probably worth a +2.
Okay. So that gives me 3, 6, and 9. I have no willpower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to worry about duration.
Nope.
Okay. Just show him, bam, as long
Sure,
as it
I
lasts
can do
long enough
this.
for him to observe it.
Yep. Main thing being, this is literally comes down to, can you do it when called to? 2 successes, that's plenty. Yep.
Yeah. Woo!
And so yeah. Now, how do you change it? Because obviously you need to touch it just because of the reach.
Right.
But yeah, play with that imago there.
So I've got a lump of just raw silver in my hand.
In its hand, it does not relinquish.
Oh, in its hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I work up the spell like a large arm gesture, and then kind of reach out with the bone wand or the bone cane, and just touch it with the tip of the cane.
Full magical girl from the
That's right.
underworld. I love it. Yeah. And so yeah, it shifts, gains that far more metallic, more mirror shine. And
It is a duration spell, so it'll last a little bit.
Yep. It lasts with your 3, so
Mhm.
3 turns. But yeah, it is long enough, and it looks and watches you. And the main thing that it wanted is you to do this right now. Not a big ritual or anything like that.
Yeah.
And
It's a good thing you had mana.
that's the other thing. And it looks at you, nods, and like grabs like rather aggressively your free hand and holds it open and drops the silver lunar gent at the moment, but will soon be just silver nuggets into your hand and kind of lets you keep that.
Ooh,
And then
yeah.
it just kind of turns with the scythe, and I mean it's a big manifestation of death. It's got to use the scythe, right? And just cleaves and super anime as fuck, like the scythe cleaves through the stone, leaving no marks, and as it like continues to swing out, the scythe seems to get larger, and it would be a massive harvest that just cuts through basically the vast majority of the mine and farther deeper. Actually, it probably is a lower kind of swing that is going to drive the mines down deep as opposed to out, and kind of turns in at the end of the swing, brings the scythe up, nods at you, gives like one glance at Legba, like, and it's a yes, you were also here, and then just steps back into the darkness. You definitely, like, looking at death, there's a definite, yeah, you're a Mastigos. I know about you, and not my boys, and death, or specifically the one I actually name, progression of all things, progression of energy to matter to dust, who I'm gonna have to change his stats in case you guys summon him up again, but yeah.
Oh, he's coming back.
Whatever. I got him on the list. Yeah, you do not have a good understanding of what exactly and how far it has gone, but considering the size of the swing and the depth that the blade dug into, it's extended the life of the mine for some amount of time.
Well, Theo's just gonna, after it's gone and the feelings have kind of settled down, she'll just walk forward and just touch a hand
Mm-hmm.
to the wall and do a quick cast matter spell to get a sense of
Sure.
how much it's been rejuvenated.
It is not some like grand mother load, like holy shit, the town. But it looks like actually very similar to what you were asking for. We want this, but we just want it to go deeper. Where the majority of this mine seems to have gone down in, levels and stuff like that, this is almost like a 45-degree angle down. So they're going to be digging considerably deeper down into the earth, and it definitely feels like it spiderwebs out a lot more. So it's going to be this far-flung, far-spread. It may be more difficult to mine over the grand, life of the mine, but it's definitely going to last for quite some time.
And Theo's good with all of that, the way you described it. So she'll kind of take her hand back, and she's just exhausted, like she's a little wobbly.
Especially now that it's gone, it's like, okay, I don't have to put on the show anymore.
Exactly. Turns to Legba and says it's going to be hard work and dangerous, but it's all there.
Wow.
We should have thought ahead and made arrangements to get help home. I think I'm just going to sit down for a little while.
Your willpower is exhausted. Your body is fine.
I mean, they've been in a mine for 8 hours.
That's true. Yeah.
It says sometimes you have to go down into the dark before you can come back into the light.
That's resonant with me in probably more ways than you understand.
I meant it deliberately. I thank you for what you've done. And I also am grateful that you allowed me to help. This means a lot to me.
Shared experiences reinforce bonds.
Yes, they do.
Can't believe you said bonds instead of chains.
Yeah. Theo thinks of them as bonds.
That's true.
So Legba, now seeing what just happened, right, and what witnessing Theo do this, right? Because in his mind, Theo did this, right? He was just there to provide a little help so that in the event that there were stumbles, she could, right? He thinks she deserves appreciation. So he then, after a bit of silence, giving her time to catch her breath, says, "We took all of the third shift to do this, which means that my shift begins now, or begins soon. And considering that, I can't forego it. If you are willing, I would like for you to stay for morning meditations, because what you have done is something that my family needs to hear about, and I would like for them to thank you now, before you leave. Will you stay?"
There's obvious conflict on Theo's face. Because you ask it of me, I will. It's not
Thank you.
usually how I operate, but
It is.
are they going to be okay with this? And she's indicating like she is Legba right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Bob Sarah.
Or Babasaurus, right?
Oh.
Head.
If you wish it to be. However, I think it would be nicer if they were to thank Theo.
But Theo didn't do this.
Well,
Baba Sarah did.
Baba Sarah's, as I've come to understand as myself, as Legba, our shadow names are a facet of ourselves. We call upon them, we invoke them, we invite them in, because they allow us to live out the more truthful aspects of ourselves, but they are not separated from who we are. They are bonded, they are linked, they are enchained with our mundane selves.
I understand what you're saying. I do see it a little bit different. That when I become Baba Sarah, there's a transition. I can do things as Baba Sarah that I can't do as Theo, and I can do things as Theo that I can't do as Baba Sarah.
Mm.
If it's all the same to you, I would rather remain Baba Sarah for this.
Very well.
They're going to come down a dirty woman in a shroud, holding a bone cane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and bear in mind, of course, this is Baba Sarah, so there's some little physical differences and the way she holds herself, but yeah. And so you lead meditation, or
so this is what I'm trying to think. Is Cloak going to stay in the guise of Legba? I think it's say Legba would give the blessing, and it might be important for them to see that. It was not going to seem strange to them. They've met Legba before. So yeah, I think it will be, you know what? I think it'll be particularly inspiring considering it's been very long since they've seen a mounting, since they've seen Legba be present and seen certain aspects of ritual. So this is what he's going to do because, although Cloak has recognized the difference between fallen magic and supernal magic and understood how there were gaps in his knowledge before that are filled by his new understanding, he's not trying to disrupt, right? He's not trying to eliminate what people believe in, especially his community. So he's going to, in the guise of Legba, he's going to approach Sanite and Messi J as people are coming in, or because he said don't come in, right? He's going to approach them and bring them in.
Cool.
And so he's going to perform a ceremony, a voodoo ceremony, kind of similar to what they would have done in Haiti.
Cool. A little twist, little change from the usual stuff, but
yes.
Cool.
And he's going to make a brief little statement, a little speech to them, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So as everybody comes in for early morning meditations, he says, I greet you all, and I believe you know me. It is not the case that you can engage me as you once did, but I am still here, and you are still cared for. You were told that there would be a point at which you and the town reached a crossroads. You needed to decide what you would do about that, who you would be, where you would invest your time, and what kind of people you would become. And then he motions to Baba Sarah and he says, this is Baba Sarah. And she has forestalled the inevitability of that crossroads being turbulent and unpleasant. She has provided for you the opportunity for you to consider that crossroads before you are forced to choose which direction you go. She has given you an opportunity. She deserves your thanks. Today, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, which I think for some reason I feel like clapping is probably not quite the right vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Probably reverent nods and attention. You'd say, there are people here in this town who care for you, as you have endeavored to care for yourselves. And as you begin your day and you meditate as usual, I would like for you to meditate on what might still be keeping you from forming attachments, from forming bonds, from enchaining yourselves to the lives of the others here. Because this is your home, and she has made it so that it can be a fruitful home for many more days to come. you should use that opportunity to make sure that it is a fruitful home for everyone else here, just as much as it is for you.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some murmurs, some imagine not quite conversation. Actually, I imagine that you get the one of the few white miners who gives you a very Southern Baptist amen. It's like, oh wait, hang on, is this that? Not that. sorry, kind of moment, which I imagine is not necessarily applauded, but everyone like, okay, we understand that and we accept it in the spirit it was given, kind of thing. But of note, Legba, I imagine, stays for the remainder of meditation and ceremony and stuff like that. After the ceremony, Baba Sarah ducks out, or and especially because Legba is then going to take over and, oh, hey, you were up for 8 hours. Now it's time to be in charge of a mine for another. Yeah. But does Baba Sarah just like slip out? How does she handle the attention, for lack of a better term?
To her mind, this wasn't about the thanks and the statements and little ritual here. It wasn't about her, it was about them. And whatever lesson Legba wanted to impart. So if that's done, she would just try and absent herself without much fanfare.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I know Baba Sarah is very much the entity of house and home, and well, not necessarily house and home because that sounds more Hestia kind of vibes, but she is, she is a protector of things, and so okay, yeah. I like the fact that she's like, cool, I was here, you all got the lesson, and just, slipping out, especially because, hey, the sun is coming up and I'm in the shroud, and I need to get home. I like that. Which also brings us to, actually, we're going to pause just a little. What time is it? 7:16. Nope, perfect time. Because we have Isabel meeting up with Jules, I imagine. Because we talked about what you were going to do, but I realized I never did ask when you were going to do it.
Like a morning or so.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking about, if you do it at night, then nobody will see, but also that might be considerably more difficult and less spectacular. So, okay, cool. So, meeting up with Jules, actually probably at the general store. And always happy to see you smiling. It's like, oh, Sheriff Isabel, putting on the big serious face, and finishing up with whatever customer, whatever thing he was doing, and kind of looks over and like, as soon as there's a moment, like puts on his serious sorcerer face. He goes, do you need my help with something?
Not in the way you're asking.
And like he blushes. He goes, wait, hang on.
I want to go for a ride with you.
Oh.
Out of town.
Oh.
That's where we get into the thirst cast part.
Right, yeah, I know.
Blushing.
Come, prepare the bonking hammers. Bonking bats.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of hand holding.
Yeah, so you can definitely see he's like, I'm trying not to read into this, but I'd happily go for a ride out of town with you. Are we looking for something, or is this just to get out of town?
Need to get some air.
Fuck you. So Jules nods and goes, oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see if, let me go. And he basically runs upstairs and gets Anastasio, and he plays it up. He's like, listen, Isabel came to me and said that she wants to go ride out of town, and I'm not. And Anastasio is like, is cutting his. Right, Anastasio is like, no more. Just go. And like, yeah. And like, I think as the two of you leave to go get Jose the Horse. He is coming down, with his mug of coffee and is just grinning. And just like is all in for this. He's a big old softy and a romantic. And so, yeah, it's definitely like, oh, yes, I'm so pleased because, I mean, those two have been the will they, won't they for, a year now. And maybe are they getting back together? Yeah. So you go get Jose the Horse, and I imagine sometime in the past year, Jules has probably gotten himself a horse. Just between the fact that he does do ritual stuff, he does have a pretty steady job.
Either that, or if 2 dots of status Purgatory Bluff can't borrow me a horse for a couple hours.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm taking my XP back.
Yeah. And specifically, I do like the idea of Jules like having a horse, just because he's trying to do his sorceress stuff. And he does frequently take rides out of town solo because it was made very clear to him by Eggrock that none of his spirit summoning, which she is not a huge fan of, it's not happening in town, not while I'm around. She's willing to put her foot down when confronting a sleepwalker. But other mages, I'm not going to mess with them. It's definitely one of the things that you guys have noticed. But yeah, so Jules and Isabel ride out towards the Hallow, I think. Just in that direction, away from Enright's place.
Yeah.
And ride for a couple hours. Find a stand of trees or something to tie the horses to.
And like Isabel's packed up some food to bring along and stuff like that.
It's a picnic.
Yeah, it's a little picnic. I have not been fair to you.
Like, there's definitely like open mouth, closed mouth is like, that's a trap. I'm not going to say anything yet. Like, I'm going to wait for more.
Mark boy.
I am a complicated woman, and I think that I have perhaps taken advantage of your affections for me more than you deserve.
There's the like initial stone face of nope, not saying anything, to a little smirk on the I'm a complicated woman. But when like you come out so like direct like that, he's like, doesn't want to say anything, but like he still very clearly likes you. Do you like him back?
You. Maybe.
Right, yeah.
So I brought you out here to tell you that I am trying to improve, to be more capable of being someone that you could be with.
He kind of tilts his head and says, I mean, I can be with you now. Yeah, I'm not going to
In the middle of the day.
I mean, you're far enough out. But he kind of shrugs. He's like, but self-improvement is good. That's definitely one of the things that I've gotten from, well, both you and Cloak. Like working on yourself is a good thing, and recognizing weakness and moving past it. And he's very much trying to be like, I'm going to be supportive of whatever your decision is, but also we can totally date. Like
But please don't break up with me.
Right? Yeah, it's that I'm gonna walk this line here.
You're right. Cloak has been helpful in that. So the thing standing in the way is I do not know if I am still married.
Which actually, out of character, has that, because obviously for everybody who went into your Neros saw some stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't know if anybody's asked those questions, because in character we haven't had a chance to, other than there was this family here and there are people who died, and nobody's on screen. Has anybody actually asked or brought that up? Or notably, has Jules been told about what you guys saw and stuff like that? I am kind of on the idea of there's a bunch of history there that that Isabel has never talked about. And
Right.
I mean, the closest thing we had was a conversation with Theo. And so everybody's just like, that's a thing. She's never talked about it in the entire year that we've been hanging
Right.
out together. Clearly, it's not something that she's interested in discussing. Is that kind of where
Right.
everybody's at with that? Cool.
I think so.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have gone prying.
So yeah, So Jules goes, excuse me, what? That's like definitely look. Yeah, because ring on the finger still would have been a thing. It just wasn't necessarily
she
a
doesn't
diamond.
have one.
Right.
Certainly doesn't have one.
Right.
Wouldn't have known where it was in the shuffle of escaping.
That's true.
And so she'll talk about the like catatonia that she had,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially tell him the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I woke to fire and collapse, and people changed. And whatever, as I've come to know, spirits did this, took over my husband and his family that I lived. And I fled off with nothing but the clothes on my back. And through a series of tumultuous events have come to be the woman you know now. So while I do not consider myself still to be that man's husband, I don't know in what state he may still exist.
Jules has, as listening to the story, has had that, like, the not necessarily 1,000-yard stare, but it's kind of staring off in the middle distance and just listening and nodding. And especially you're talking about spirits, which has been his kind of like pet project for a while. And now he's hearing about some things he didn't know spirits could do. And he's going, oh.
Which was a shock to her too, right?
Right.
So,
and nods and says, so, and you awakened after that. So you're not even, from what I've even gone through, I'm no longer that same person. So, I am. Well, let me start at the top. I am willing to delay courting you until, such time as you are comfortable. Like, I do not want to press you on that. I'm also very willing to travel to Mexico with you to A, discover what has happened to your family, B, investigate what happened to your family, and there's that, yep, he's not a mage, but it's still there, and to find resolution to that part of your life. I'm on board on that with heart and mind. Finally, stumble. Both directions. I am interested in helping you if that's what you want to do.
She's like a little overwhelmed at all that, right? But having you by my side would be joyous beyond not anything that I deserve, but anything that I've imagined for the last 2 years.
Which notably, and asking because clarifying whether that was Isabel stumbling or Chris stumbling over words.
No, she says exactly that.
Because especially throwback to when first meeting Jules and she was taunting him and playing the flute and, you know, was smooth, right? And now this, and he's like, oh shit, this is like the real Isabel. It is like, and yeah, it's, I'm not going to say it's tentative, but there's a definite like, and hand on hand, like eyes there, like, please don't punch me. And then like a hand squeeze, right? And it's like, no, you are worth it. Every person is deserves somebody.
Agreed. Now, I did want to talk to you about all this, but seeing as how we are now planning to be sort of learning alongside each other, I thought I would ask you to help me in an experiment.
And we're gonna pause right there. Thank you, Chris. I saw you look down. I don't know if you're actually looking at the clock or not, but okay. Dun dun dun. So yes, Twitch folks, we'll be back in just a second. We're gonna go on our break. YouTube guys, blinking. I mean, there's no cliffhanger for when you're on YouTube, unless it's, I guess, at the end of the episode. Twitch guys, you gotta wait a whole like 5 minutes. So stand up, pet some dogs, touch some grass, go see some sky, get a drink, go to the bathroom, do some jumping jacks, take a break, move yourself, take care of yourself. We'll be back in 5-10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, actually we pick up. So what is that experiment?
Isabel just grabs a little bit tighter onto the hand that she had been proffered.
A whole new world.
What sort of problematic way is she going to describe this as so that sounds intimidating? Is it okay if I change you?
And him being a sleepwalker and understanding that she has life and kind of looks and goes, okay.
Sorry, that sounded
check,
terrible.
man. Blank check.
Jules, do you want to fly?
Yes. Like no hesitation. Well, especially because, you know, throwback again to way back when.
Yeah.
I saw you flying around in the sky. Wasn't exactly under my own power.
That wasn't my doing.
Right.
Don't turn me into nothing unnatural.
Yes.
All right, I got one dice read. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, so just one. His nose is 2.
Well, because I got a flute.
Oh, yeah.
So just cancer.
Yep.
Sorry, my brains are scrambled right now.
All 2 of them?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. So -2 for scale just to get him as well.
5, 10, 8.
8 dice. 3 successes. We'll take it.
Yep.
And out of their sort of shoulder blades for the both of them pops or sprouts even. She does like get him to sort of partially remove his shirt to give him some room.
Right.
And like her dress can sort of accommodate it. And like big, like bright golden eagle wings. Like the eagle that is on the flag of Mexico.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I believe, just called a golden eagle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're, based on the spell's description, you instinctively know how to use the new part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not a scientist to tell you how big these wings would have to be, but I'm imagining they'd have to be pretty fuck off big.
Yep. Yeah.
Probably 10, 12, 15 foot wingspan, something like that.
Sure.
I'm imagining.
As we are always fond of saying, it's magic.
Exactly. And then she takes off running to get a start. And
The albatross method.
yeah.
I always rescue rangers, baby. Like, hang on, I gotta run off this building. Jules like definitely has a left, right, like Isabel's off running, and he's over here like, I'm gonna flex this wing, I'm gonna flex that wing. This is like, he's just experimenting, and it actually takes him like 5 or 10 seconds and looking out and seeing you run, and at that point are airborne, and he goes, oh my god, I have wings. And then he's off like a just full sprint, jumps, and just is into the air and is trying to play catch up. And yeah, I imagine there is a whole new world playing in the background. Disney, please don't sue us. And
original characters do not steal.
Right. There's no carpet involved. Everything's fine. And yeah, just like chasing, and it's a very quick, like, get as high as we can kind of thing, which turns out with just that spell, it's like, oh, we can't get super high. Well, actually, no. Because can you do a couple changes with, is it like per potency?
For potency.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so you've got a couple changes.
Could even change bone density.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's yeah. Yeah. So yeah, with 3 potency, easily the appropriate modifications in order to get airborne at actual, like, real height to not cause a bunch of breaking points. Yes, Craig.
Can I just interject some math? Based on the ratio of wing length to body size for the golden eagle, your wings you have a 25-foot wingspan.
Yeah, the fuck off wingspan. Yeah, I love that. Little,
Again, y'all, it's magic. You don't have to tell me all the science. That was not like
they don't need to be.
You popped the question out there, and my brain had to fill it.
Craig had to answer the question. Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm sure, knowing our crowd, some of our audience had the same thing going on with them, so now they have that head scratch.
And let's be honest, it's an audience of mage fans. Like, this is our brand. That's a question. I have to find out the answer. But yeah, just flying, moving, dodging and weaving through the air. And I imagine speeds that you're going, there's no conversation, there's no singing together, but yeah, it's just hauling ass through the sky. And this is probably actually one of the, freedom is pretty accurate. This is one of the few times that you've seen Jules on a more daredevilish kind of thing. Because now all of a sudden that he's in the air, it's like, as long as I'm not dive bombing the ground. And so, it starts hesitant as just flying, and then like, okay, let me try to spins and twists and turns and all these things that come naturally to him because of the magic of the spell. And so, yeah, he's just getting acrobatic with it, and his actual athletics and he has 0 dots in acrobatics.
That's not a skill.
That's not a skill, I know.
Athletics.
Athletics is the one I meant, yeah. But yeah, just whipping out around through the air, and it's not super graceful, but he's throwing himself into it, and there's no conversation, but there's some definite like yahoos as he flies like by you. I
mean, implying that Isabel's doing the same.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I'm just playing Jules.
Yeah.
And just like having a good old time, though. we did take duration, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to remember the
It's a
region.
theme.
Mhm. Yep. And so you guys just have a while up there, and he is more than happy to stay up for as long as you are flying. Though as soon as he notices that you are heading in for a landing, he also heads in for a landing because, listen, there's one real big prank that she could pull on him while he is airborne, and he's like, no. I am landing this bird before all of a sudden my wings disappear. Not that you would do something like that at a ridiculous height, but coming down for a landing, and so he tumbles or something. But
Leave him a gravity cushion to land on.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, and I'm gonna say it. He lands, and there's a throw in for a hug. With the potential for more, but like kind of pulling back. He's like, wait, hang on.
There's a smooch.
Okay.
There's a smooch.
Yeah. And then a quick
Sure.
step back, especially, he's your bare chested, big wings, it's the cover of a Harley Quinn romance novel kind of thing.
Yep.
And then immediately realizes, oh shit, like steps back but realizes, oh no, she kissed me back. It's okay. We're good. I imagine once you guys are on the ground, the wings go away pretty quickly thereafter. And he's at that point panting and exhausted because, he's been, flapping 25-foot, wings, and then kind of looks over at the food and says, "Oh, can we eat?" And I'm sure, once sitting down, probably a little sweaty and eating, and he goes just full nerd into, and it's probably not the best topic of discussion, but he starts talking about, so I've had some theories about what has happened, to your, your your in-laws, right? And he's just off that way, talking and discussing, and probably not the, depending on what kind of cues and clues that she gives him, but he's off talking about, okay, so maybe this is what's happened to them since then, because it's been a couple years, and he starts to discuss, and he's very clearly not obsessed because he's a sleepwalker, but he's like, hey, these are some ideas. This is, what we could do. If this is stuff you want to figure out, he's on board and it interests him, and so he's just, the ideas are coming out his mouth of, hey, we could fly down there, yeah. And he's often that kind of discussion.
And she lets him go for a while, and then steps in. It's like, Petrichor would be fascinated in your ideas and that investigation, but I brought you out here.
And and there's a, moment, and he realizes and goes, oh. And the gears turn, the math turns. He goes, okay, courting Isabel, not Petrichor. Got it. Yep. Okay.
I both, but more specifically, if Isabel is not the right mindset to, that's not what she came here to do, right?
Oh, okay. And realizing, no, this is a date, yeah. And the blush comes back and goes, oh, okay. And there's a shift to sit a little closer and shuts the fuck up. I'm not going to speak for every guy out there, but guys, sometimes just shut the fuck up. Trust me. And so we shift. Actually, is there any specific resolution for this? Okay, we fade to black, in a PG style.
Fade to sepia.
Jesus. And we cut to Miss Gisela Bauer returning back to the Mushroom Ring, or another plan in mind.
I don't know that I would go back there. Probably to the Hallow.
Mm-hmm.
just because it is already set up to be a more magical place,
Mhm.
and because
It's hidden.
yeah, and she told me that this one wasn't nice enough. So
It's true. Which I like that the descent down into the hidden space, which well, you guys have had a year. Has there been any like major remodeling that you guys have done? I'm kind of aiming this over towards Theo because Theo's the one who has the matter to can really change stuff on the inside, but or has this been left kind of in its more natural state of we've redirected the water and otherwise left this kind of the way it was?
He was imagining was that we've left it kind of the way it was, but there's this living water sculpture sort of suspended in
Right.
an area.
But otherwise you guys have kind of left it as is. You haven't tried to repurpose it into a meeting place or anything like that, because I mean you guys haven't met out here. It is a functional place. It is a hallow that now the residence has changed a little bit. It's still dark cave and water and stuff like that, but there's some other resonance that has joined in with it taking on a bit of a ritual space, and just because of your other uses.
Yeah, we would have like cleaned out the sediment and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have
Isabel
like
kind of
some
helped shape
shelves.
that a bit.
Oh, that's right, because you put your books out here.
Yeah, some shelves bring all of like any written research or anything I have is out here now. None of it's at my house because again, I don't have a room. Anything I don't want people to find.
Right.
So I imagine Gisela comes out here relatively often.
Okay, I like that. And Chris, what were you saying?
I was saying Isabel has helped shape the resident.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, just been one of those.
Sure, it stays like still stable of what it was, but
Right. It's,
comes to be useful for us.
Right. As opposed to just letting it get destroyed from use. I like that. Cool. So going to the Hallow, and we talked about this off screen, taking about 3 hours to summon forth this little pixie again. We're just not going to roll it because it's a rank one. We've demonstrated that Ash is able to do it. Gisela is able to do it. And as before, hang on, I'm just realizing. Okay, yeah. Just noticed there's messages. Oh, okay. You guys basically, well, the pixie steps forth. Yep. I had to think if there's any dramatic change or anything, but no, it's the same pixie who just steps out of, in this case, more blatantly into existence, as opposed to stepping around a mushroom and being dainty and cute. The facade is the appearance is still there, but the mask and the facade that it was putting on is kind of removed a little bit, and looks up and smiles at you and says, "Have you made a decision?
I have.
And what is so valuable that you are willing to give up to end your curse?"
I want to be clear. This isn't just for me. Can you remove the curse from my whole family?
How much of your whole family?
On the line.
It's a bloodline.
I'm familiar. You have some aunts and uncles and cousins.
So far, the curse seems to pass down through the oldest. So it was on my father. It's on me. I'm worried that if I removed it from myself, it would just pass on to my brother.
So your immediate family.
I don't believe anyone else is cursed.
And I think you like a stone-faced refusal to say anything.
Can you do it?
I can ensure that the curse is removed from your father, yourself, your brother, your sister. Wait, sister? Am I inventing characters? Yeah.
there's a little sister.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. And your mother too. Just, that with a little wink. I can ensure that.
And that it won't pass on?
She nods her head.
Okay. What I am prepared to give you. I'm unwilling to hurt my family. So, for myself, I'm going to give you everything I have that would tie me back home. So, for years now, we've just been running. But home was in the forest, in our little town. It was really nice. And somehow I always held on to the hope of going back.
And like there's a grin, right? And she says, so the thing that I will remove the thing that made you leave home, but now you
and in
cannot
exchange,
return.
I will give you the ability to return.
A desire to return.
Well, actually,
the
what-
ability
what's
is
the
much
ability?
better.
And she not, and like there's this like probably the same pacing motion that you've seen Anastasio do, hands behind his back as he's like thinking over a deal, and like, and it's very clearly Anastasio. You recognize the motions that she's going through, and she nods and says, if you ever return home, this curse will return tenfold.
Oh,
That's a Fey bargain.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
And she nods, steps up, extends her tiny little hand up to you.
That was a quick okay. A lot of
Shake-
loopholes in there.
shake her hand, and well, by sanctity of merits, you have two merit dots to spend elsewhere. Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. Unless you already have plans for where you want to put them.
Now I need to look into it.
Okay. But yeah, and for you, your peripheral mage sight, tingles, and it's as opposed to that weird mix up of arcana, this is like, oh, this is some fate, this is some prime. You can spot a bunch of these different little things tying to you. You don't feel much of anything. You don't feel your luck, right? But yeah, there's that sense that something has happened, and otherwise, that's it. There's no, there's no, actually, for drama's sake, and because you're the acanthus, you can hear the church bells in the distance, right? She's like, what the fuck? But that's it. She nods and she smiles like it's the very businessman shark kind of expression. And she says, is there anything else?
No, that'll be it for right now. Thank you very much.
She gives you, a curtsy with her lack of clothes, and then turns and just like does a little pixie-esque spin on the ground and is just gone.
Okay, well,
Of note, as she leaves, you lose your spell out of your spell control.
okay, yeah. Because presumably the holes it was patching aren't there anymore.
Effectively, yeah.
Oh, I didn't have it written down. Okay. Well, at that, I'm just going to sort of take a moment and self-assess and like try to see if I can find what's not there anymore.
Sure. And without making you roll the die, because we've talked about it before, using I cannot remember the fate spell of looking at connections and the fates, and where you found that Rilla had a destiny, who, by the way, still has that destiny. You've seen it a couple times. It's actually probably irritating every time you turn your mage sight on. It's like, would you please? But yeah, that same destiny that was drawing you places is no longer here. And, without too much navel gazing, it's like, no, this seems right. You do have, just from your experience and your knowledge of Arcana and stuff like that, it's like, no, this is more of, this is in abeyance. Waiting. There's the Gordian knot kind of thing of, no, that's not the right one.
The sword.
Sword of Damocles. Yep. Hanging over your head. You are the knot. It's just like, yep. Can't go back.
Great.
Could have negotiated voluntarily into that contract.
I hit oh yeah, trust me. I was like, ooh, she's just all right. So yeah. So now as a storyteller, I'm like, cool. So what excuse do we find to send people back to Germany? And poor Gisela has to go, shit.
Or at least not go anywhere near home.
Right. Which, out of character, I will be clear. Yeah, no, you can't go back to your hometown.
Yeah.
Cool. So self-assess, do the nobody can see me happy dance.
And then, yeah, I'm going to go back to our house, and I want to... Oh, whenever Dad gets home, just like, look.
I like it. Yeah.
And see how he's feeling, and how's his day been.
This whole past week has been great, and then getting in, he's talking about, there was a lot of he's sharing the gossip, right? And he's talking about, it's really weird. The Maroon's mind was shut down all night, and your mother is. Well, what are they doing? What happened? Was there a gas leak? Yeah.
Yeah. Was it safe?
And he's we're eating, talking, and I'm not sure what exactly happened. I tried to chat, but they were away working, and nobody at third shift knew anything until they came out of the mine. So I'm sure we'll probably hear about it in the next day or two. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I do like that. Yeah, he'd probably say Unga and Cloak. He worked in the mines. Yeah, they have a good team over there, and some of them. Some of our guys have gone over there and they really like it. Cutting away and stuff like that. And yeah, I imagine over dinner, eyes wide, staring, like, is there anything showing on deck? No. And after the past week and everything, he's free and clear. And then you have that moment, of course, where you go, you look over your brother. Fine. And, of course, he's never had any sign of the curse on him or anything like that. It's never hung over his head. All good so far, other than
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed with the knowledge that
I think I did it.
And in exchange, I'm just
You did it.
here now. I'm here now.
Yep. Well, I mean, you got the whole of the U.S., but now that you're here, yeah. Maybe time to settle down, put down some roots, go talk to that Jules fella. we're not doing.
No, we're not doing. Yeah,
the love angle, because it's not a triangle, guys, unless you have all
unless
three legs.
Everyone is connected.
Thank you.
It's a love fork. If it's just
a
one
love fork.
Vertex.
Yeah.
And going to 2 points.
Yep. Love it. Cool. Which boom, 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 boom. Ralph, you had a little vignette from earlier. What was that? You wanted to
I wanted to. Legba wants to check in again because he left his astral self in the company of a priest.
Mm-hmm. And
so as much as he can't take any actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would just be present, want to be present, exposing his astral self to the resonance of what is Tenochtitlan, so that he can prepare himself to properly engage whoever it ends up being. I mean, out of character, we have an idea, but Cloak doesn't know that.
Gotcha. And so the idea being that rather than ending the effect, the walk in two worlds has kind of let his astral self marinate, for lack of a better term, and is just not interacting with anything, just being there. And okay, I like that.
Like finding a place, like the equivalent thing of meditating in the mines, right? He's like, why not do this? I'm doing something else. Normally, he's doing the reverse of what most people would do in astral travel, where they leave their body in a state of catatonia and they send their astral self to traverse the realms.
Right.
He is devoting all his attention to his physical body, and he's leaving his astral self meditating somewhere in that realm.
I like that. And kind of really emphasizing the fact that for Legba, this isn't, the astral is not something that he plans to turn off and on again. It's I like that. Okay. Yeah. And I imagine, let me direct my attention back over there real quick. Oh, hey, look, like the astral realm has continued life around, and it's not like he's sitting in the middle of the road or something like that. He's, out of the way, but there's like stuff has moved around as much as the astral realms can change, the whole new building put up or anything like that. But especially because I imagine you were staying in that temple with the priest, like you come back and find that like you've been moved and like you are now like kneeling or sitting on like a mat instead of on and so there's just been a couple little accommodations as the world and the Temenic realm has like accepted the fact that, all right, Legba is here now, and is just adjusted to, and that existence there. I dig that. And
okay, fantastic. And then the other small thing before we move on to the rest that I forgot to mention ahead of time was Legba would like to look in on quickly, because it's been about a week, on all of the 5 men that he sent home.
Cool.
You can describe those things. I'm happy to roll dice if you like, but it doesn't need to be a huge engagement.
You're scrying, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No need to roll dice just because take amount of time and it's not a difficult spell and we're not pressed for time.
Cool.
And just picking up with everybody, because I have the names written down, so why not actually use them? Hey there.
You would go west to east, start with Francisco Morton.
Right. And good old Frisco is legitimately in like family company. Like it's very clearly like it's been a week, but depending on how long you watch, like is been like put back to work in the house, right? He's doing chores, he's helping around, and you can see he has got the good family vibes going on, and they're happy to have him back. Marco Sweeney, who I believe is I can't remember who ended up going out to New York, so whatever. But we have.
Pull it up. Let's see real quick. Got it in my notes.
Oh, good.
Come on, pull up page. There we go. Samuel.
Okay, cool. It is in that order. Cool. I didn't realize I'd rearranged them. That's fabulous. So yeah, Marco Sweeney in our lovely little Midwest towns and stuff like that, doing well. You know, is I imagine by the time you look over, is literally working up on the farm, right? Theo Evans, similar kind of situation. Without having any kind of working at a forge or something similar. Adam Morgan having a good old time, and it just because of the timing that you look in, right, whatever, is at some nice little dance at the put on by whatever church or organization, right? And then you try to scry Samuel Dawson, and nothing happens.
Whoa.
Actually, hang on. Scratch that. We might actually...
Was he our military deserter?
Technically, they're all kind of military deserters in the fact that they're all... they were all captured and didn't report back.
So I'm scrying on the chain link.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Making sure we were thinking of the same thing.
Yep.
Well, let's be very aware that we're about to create a Mr. Graves situation here.
I'm very aware, but I also know that
he could be dead or awakened, because then he wouldn't be the same person as the person you made the link with.
Well, and that's why, because he's scrying on the actual chain link.
Yeah, scrying on my Nimbus.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, if he doesn't have the chain link anymore, or if it's been destroyed,
it would just zoom in on the chain link itself. But yes, that is also a good point. Blah 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 blah. Yes. Yeah. You attempt to channel and view that chain link, and nothing happens.
Okay. Curious.
Now, I am making the assumption, just because it seems natural to do so, that when you are scrying, you are just using, just making sure, the basic 1 potency, because it is something that is connected to you, and so you don't need additional potency.
That's right, exactly. You would then try again, because it seems strange to him. And he would assume that he made a mistake, right? His initial assumption, considering he's thinking, I made this a part of my chain. I might need to shake it louder, right?
Sure.
I may need to pull it harder, considering how he thinks of these things in terms of the imago.
Mm-hmm.
So he would then reinforce his will and increase the potency. So let me take a look at this real quick. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. I'm actually going to cast a spell.
Yep.
Let's do Gnosis in space. And...
And while you're writing that up real quick, feel free. Just going to point out to chat, while off screen we have Craig over here offering a room from Theo to Gisela. Oh yeah, come move on in. We got a spare room.
I'm just like, how do you have that many rooms? Why would you have that many rooms?
Well, because Catherine needs a room and Theo needs a room, and then they had a room for oh my gosh, Valosia and Rilla
and Valosia and a guest room.
Most people did not have guest rooms.
Yeah,
that wasn't a thing.
We had a bunch of Maroons, so.
But yeah, in the house that my grandparents' house that my great-great-granddad built on the farm, they had 2 bedrooms.
Yep.
One for them, one for the children. And they had 6 children. They had the bedroom.
Yep.
Okay, 3. I am going to. 1, 2, 3. I will do. This is going to be one more reach than I've listed here because I'm going to change the primary factor from,
Okay. From duration to potency.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to increase the duration by. I just want to see if it works. I want to get a glimpse. So I'm not going to increase potency or duration. All right. Let's see. Please remind me, is it you get 3 yantras when you go to Gnosis 3?
Mhm.
Cool. Great. And one is sympathetic. One is going to be Maya Son, and another is my shadow name.
Okay. Right off the chains. All right. Overreaching by 1. Gnosis 3 is 2 paradox, but you have your Son, so that reduces.
It's going to be
it down
overreaching by 2 because
oh, that's right. You
I
did
forgot
mention
that. Yeah. So then I'll spend 2 mana.
Okay.
And roll a chance die.
Nothing.
Sweet. Cool. Roll up them dice.
7, 12 dice.
Looks like it.
And that is a potency of.
Ooh,
Whoa!
Damn.
Wow.
Try that again.
Okay. That will cost you an additional
more mana.
Right.
Yep.
And I will roll chance die again.
Oh, so that's a total of 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, great.
Casting
Roll again.
sympathetically, it gets expensive.
Yes, it does. Oh, there we go.
There we go. And of course, it denies you the exceptional to be like, hey, you want that mana back? Never mind.
It's probably going to make that as praxis at this point.
It's a good.
Yeah, let's do that.
So with
Do that, take the mana back.
okay, so you're going to spend the.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's true. I haven't been chasing you guys down about Gnosis increases and getting free praxis.
He has an open one at
Okay.
this point.
Yeah, and I figured actually because we haven't discussed it much, I figured most people would have them. Okay, cool. That's good. So you recoup the mana.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your total potency then? Because it would have been 4.
Would have been 3, I think, because space 3.
Space 3, right? Okay.
Yep.
Nothing happens.
Whoa! All right.
Cloak rolls his shirt sleeves up.
Let's see. Triumph through adversity. He's going to try one more time.
Cool.
Let's really make this happen. All right. So he's going to increase the potency. He's rolling with 12 dice. So it's 15. Increase the potency by 4.
So roll 4 dice.
He's going to roll 7 dice.
Oh,
He's going to spin a willpower. Sorry, he's going to spin a willpower. And then increase the potency by 4 to potency 7.
And you're going to spend 4 mana?
It will be 4. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So there's our chance die.
Ooh,
Hey!
I get something from that.
It doesn't accumulate additional paradox.
Oh, that's right. Cool. Great. Spend that willpower. Spin me a willy. Roll 7. Succeed.
With the 1 dice or 1 success. Perfect. So yes, with that much potency, what was that total? We bumped it up to
7 potency.
Right. Punching through the withstand, which because I don't think this has happened to any character, but for Legba's view, there was withstand on something that normally does not have. Well, it may have some withstand because of sympathy, but this is something that's connected to you. This is, and definitely like there's something else besides just sympathy itself in the way, and just punching through that. And now you can see the chain link, which the downside to this spell, of course, is the fact that you have that focus in on the chain link. But It is sitting on kind of, I don't know, how long is this? About a 5-foot wide table. Looks wood and kind of rough. Also on the table are some knives, some calipers, some hammers. It looks like it could be a workbench kind of thing with a bunch of different various tools. And then kind of like initially you're kind of looking down at the chain link, which is just set to the side with clear significance. It's not just piled in with a bunch of stuff. It's set out, right, with like some space around it. And you have that, a stone, actually probably not stone, like large brick walls. And then kind of panning around, you can see what looks like, actually, considering Jean-Paul's past, this is a room where bad things happen to people.
God damn it.
Notably, kind of panning around, you kind of have that, out of focus thing, but you can make out our, I won't say good friend, but our friend Samuel Dawson, who is currently sitting on a chair. He is bare from the waist up. I almost did that the other way around. And he doesn't appear to have any marks on him that you can see, but he's very clearly tied to this chair with ropes around his legs and his arms around behind his back. His head is kind of resting. He doesn't appear to be dead or anything like that. There's no marks. You can see a little bit of breathing happening, but that is it.
Well, shit. What I suspect happens here is, I see that, and I wanted to see if I could look through. I didn't leave it up for advanced duration. I didn't put on reach for advanced duration. So
you have a turn. Yeah.
Now or never. I can't cast 2 spells. I mean, I could combine, but that's not what I want to do. Cloak wants to go there.
But I mean, you can see it. It's in sensory range. So if you can pull it off in a turn.
Remote, right?
Yeah.
An extra reach.
And he is unconscious, right?
Like he appears to, at this point, either he is taking a nap or unconscious, but yeah, his head down is in that very like unsupported kind of fashion. Not a, I'm resting my head down, but is that forward slump.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah. Time for a collocate.
Sure. That place is this place.
And let's see. I'm casting, so I can't do something else. All right, cool. Let's do it.
I will note before you start, your legacy attainment is still casting collocate.
Oh, that's right. I've already been there.
Well, I mean, regardless of that,
yeah.
Like, I do not see a reason to restrict you to casting collocate just via the Temetic connection.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's right. It just allows me to do that. Oh, that's a good point.
That. Yeah.
Yes, I do have. Oh, okay, fantastic. Yes, that's right. All right.
Space is the collocate. The mind is the Temetic part of it.
That's right.
So you have
that's right. I can just do it.
I was like,
that's right. Thank you.
It's fun turn, but you got this.
Yeah. Totally. Oh yeah. Then I spend the mana and boom, I'm there.
When you open a portal.
I open a portal.
Just the way your reach is set up.
And it does. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So you can step through real quick.
All right.
Your scry disappears. And you have because you're still space 3, so you still have 3 turns. So
yes,
step through.
Yep. Let's see. I think I'm gonna grab him and take him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grab. Round 2.
Can I grab the chain link as well?
Yeah, that's fine because you pop out next to it. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
that free action kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
grab, especially buff, Legbo, we did, Cloak, John Paul, everything. Just grabs the seat of the chair and just bodily, nearly wrestling move.
Yeah.
I'm going backwards right through the portal
totally.
and pulling this thing through. Cool. And then you fall backwards. The scry is already gone, and then the co-locate disappears. Where were you doing this scry at?
Yeah, jeez. Oh, fuck. It's a good thing I used my attainment. So he'd be scrying in a place where, it wouldn't... He usually does this stuff in the mines, in the meditation room.
Sure. Which, if it's currently not in use, that's fine.
Yeah. So that's what he would do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Shane Dawson, to Purgatory Bluff. He is unconscious. And at this point now, like, imagine the backwards, all right, set him back up. Now he's in that chair in the meditation room.
Yeah. Let's see. I turn on Mage Sight, and I determine if he's asleep, he's comatose, that kind of thing.
Right.
What
mine.
his mental state is.
Yeah, he is asleep. Well,
Okay.
was asleep. He's at this point now going. I mean,
so he wakes up.
Yeah, he's in the
great.
process of waking up and very, very confused.
That makes sense. But he's seen me before.
Mhm.
So then Legba takes a deep breath. And he holds up the chain link.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Shane Dawson.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember me?
Holy shit. Fuck, where? Hank? Like, and kind of squinting at the mine, and, the meditation chamber looks considerably different from a mine, right? But starts to recognize that, am I in the mines? And but I'm still in the chair. Like, this is some straight up, had a bad dream, and now, what? Hank, what is going, where the fuck am?
I'm going to free you.
Okay.
I need you to pay attention very closely.
Paying attention.
Do you remember me?
Yes.
I said that with this we were connected.
Yes.
Something happened to you, and I suspect it is bad. I don't need to know right now, but I want you to know that you are safe for now.
The sigh of relief starts and then stops midway for now.
Yes, I will allow you to rest, and then I will need you to tell me everything you can about the people that put you in that chair. So take some time to realize that you are back in Purgatory Bluff. You are not in that dungeon.
I can't remember.
That in the withstand is deeply troubling.
Oh yeah, some
So
serious shit.
he kind of,
And he can't remember?
I know.
Yeah. So, whatchamacallit? I'm gonna free him.
Mhm.
And
Remove the
then,
ropes. Yep.
Yeah, definitely remove the ropes. And I'm gonna, would be a good place for him. Ooh, I know. Oh, I'm probably too far away to use telepathy without the sympathetic attainment. So I think the safest place for him to recuperate would be with medical aid, probably from Theo or Baba Sarah.
Sure. Or Catherine.
Oh, Catherine. Yeah, that kind of thing. So
The two of them
yeah.
are a good pair.
So he's going to spend another mana and then ping Theo.
You were enjoying dinner. You were.
Composure 5, no visible reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the ping?
The thing is, Theo, I must talk with you now.
and we can communicate mentally. So I would say where.
I would like to bring someone to you.
Okay.
And then he elaborates. He says, those 5 men I sent back to their homes. The one I sent to New York was grabbed by someone who was able to occlude my link to the items I gave them so that I could look in on them. I've brought him back to Purgatory Bluff, and he is in need of rest and recuperation. He also does not remember who put him in confinement.
Does he have any connections lingering on him?
I'm going to scour him of those if they exist. But my first concern was his physical and mental well-being.
Of course, I will help. I
if-
just don't want to put my family in danger.
Of course not. I'll do what I can to make sure there's no link. And I'll be present with him as well if you'll allow it.
Of course.
Thank you. I'll be there when I can.
So Theo's, eating dinner and carrying on conversation, and then just sort of, so something's come up, and I need to go. I'm really sorry.
Rilla kind of looks over and goes, like, gives you a look. I think Catherine and Rilla give you a look, and go, uh-huh. And Rilla, Rilla has a, do you need help?
I think I should be okay. Yeah. There's
Oh, you're muted, Chris.
how do I get it? Somebody's
Coven mate does not get included in anything.
Theo's thinking more about their risk at this point, right? Because there might, if somebody grabbed him and they were obscuring him, there might be some fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I meeting Theo or Legba?
The mine.
He's going to come to you.
In the mine? Okay. Oh, he was going to come
you
here?
can come to the mine if you want. That's fine.
Yeah, I think she'd go to the mine then.
Cool.
As a different place. Actually, Rilla,
Yes.
you might be useful. That didn't come out right.
Yeah, I know. She gives you a look. Wow.
Why don't you please come along? You would probably be more help than I would.
Oh, okay.
And just kind of looks at Catherine at the
Like,
so sorry.
Catherine looks over at your plate and stabs whatever main portion is left on it on a fork, holds it up to you and passes it, and just eat this on the way.
I will answer any questions you have when I get back.
Yeah. If something is needed, go.
Okay. And they head out and hike up skirts and get
Right.
to town as quickly as they can.
Do you collect any other members of the coven along the way? Or at least inform people of what's going on? Or that something is going on, because you don't even know what's going on.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily go to get Gisela directly, but I'm definitely passing through town to talk to Isabel.
And Isabel probably, especially dinner time, is working the tavern.
Yep.
Actually, that's true. You probably need to let Petrichor and Sheriff Isabel know that, hey, shit is up again.
Yeah, and I think this would be a Petrichor conversation. Just feeling that one of the folks was sent back home was grabbed and obscured when Legba went to check in on him. There was resistance. So there may be trouble. We're heading to the mine to give them a hand.
I'll be there when I can.
Okay. And maybe just let Gisela know.
I see her.
Okay. Scoot.
Sure. Yeah. Gisela's having a stare down with Dad, being like, "Are you actually okay?" So yeah, you guys, Rilla and Theo, make their way up to the mine, which again, active mind, so it's like, oh, hi everybody, yep, yep, we're here. Just scurry in. And yeah, Shane Dawson is overall looking confused, right? Is a little out of it, but talking with Legba, it's like, no, you are back in Purgatory Bluff, and yes, I removed you from danger and stuff like that, but is less concerned about the where am I? Got it, sure. Purgatory Bluff. Last time I was here, it wasn't bad, but is very clearly like concerned about I cannot remember what happened. So yeah, when Rilla and Theo show up, stepping through the thing we've said, the curtains to help block out sound and stuff like that, are greeted with Shane like standing up, moving, suddenly a little self-conscious that he's shirtless, but otherwise, I'm making these motions, rubbing at his wrists a little bit and stuff, and you can see that he's got the ropes have clearly been there for a while. There's not quite, well, actually, yeah, it's probably to the point of bruising, but those appear to be the only like real marks on him, and
Great.
Is pacing basically. Actually, and notably, is very confused when he sees. Actually, I'll double check with Craig. Theo or Babasera arriving?
I think this would be Babasera.
Okay. And Rilla being Rilla. So, like, okay, woman I've never met before, and the school teacher? This is very, very confused. And Chris, unless there's a reason for Isabel to stay, yeah. So, probably just minutes later, Isabel arrives. Do we stop in and check with Gisela on your way out? And let her know, or
does Gisela have like a policy for that?
oh, that's true. Yeah, you guys have a year now of like, hey, how do we communicate?
Mhm.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be too unusual for you to like stop in and just.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because it is the two of you.
Just
Do you
saying
invite her
help
for a
something.
walk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to get some air.
Right. I mean, hey, you do you. And so it's like, oh yeah, you're done with dinner nearly. So yeah, we want to go on a walk. Why? Oh,
Sure.
We'll go up to the mines. And so we again have, and fortunately, it's the maroon side where I'm pretty sure, like, considering how often you guys have used that mine for, going in, and especially because I imagine this is Arachne and Petrichor who actually enter the mine. Yeah. The worst kept secret lair. But yeah, so at that point, as probably imagined, Cloak is kind of giving the download of, okay, this is what's happened, and then that's when Isabel and Gisela arrive. There's a quick a quick repeat of it. At this point, Shane is very, very confused because Legba he recognizes, doesn't recognize Petrichor or no, actually wouldn't recognize Arachne, because Arachne he's never met unless she's staying as Gisela. Basically, did she put on the shadow name persona for this, or does she just show up as Gisela?
And she's probably just going as herself.
Gotcha.
Because again, it's only like a one dot shadow name. It's not. It's not a
significant
persona
change.
she really puts on. It's
Gotcha. And I just
more
realized
just a mindset when weaving magic.
I like that. And I just realized actually Shane has met the school teacher, and yeah, because it was the two of you who rescued or found him. Yeah. And so yeah. Oh. Okay. And after the next retelling, and goes, yeah, but I really. Okay, so I arrived in New York. Thank you again. And I was there for a day. Got home, spoke with everybody. We hung out, had a party, and then so I was there 2 days, and something happened, and then you found me.
That is worrisome. I could help you remember. I'm concerned that it might be traumatic to you.
Kind of looks back at the chair and the ropes and says, I'm not sure I want to remember.
Do you know how...
However, go ahead. Sorry.
How long you were in that place?
And and kind of looks at, Legba. It's been
like a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
A week total since we sent them off, so like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you could remember for him.
If
Yes.
the memories are still there, if they've been excised.
Mhm.
I was going to ask for his permission. If he wanted me to see that, it would help us. However, it seems that
Gisela
Mademoiselle
has an
Bauer
idea.
has an approach that might suffice.
Yeah, I need to touch him. Wait, no. I had the reach for range, so I don't have to actually, reach out and grab him for this. So I'm just going to just kind of sit down because I'm not taking the reach to remain aware of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the -2 duration, so I should have it for reaches for instant range and the scrub.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me
A day.
a day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a -4.
Okay, cool. So that's 5 dice. And a little overreach. Are you spending mana on that?
Yeah, I will. I have plenty.
Okay, so chance die, nothing. Cool. Throwing yourself back to basically, I imagine when his memory
5
stops.
days ago. Yeah.
Mhm. And yeah, scrubbing forward, and you pick up the tail end of a party and welcome back. And based on his pants, and his boots, he's from at least well-off family, or whoever was there to take care of him. He's got nice shiny boots, good boots, right? And nice, probably actually looks like, I don't know if it's quite the right time frame, but nice tux pants, right? Or at least our equivalent thereof. And watching him at a party, and he's having a good time. The next morning, a little bit of hangover, but that's fine. Goes out, and there's some conversation that he has with family about finding a job. And I know a guy, quite literally talking to a law firm to work in, and goes to go meet these people. And actually, what would you see? What happens when somebody with incognito presence beginning to concentrate on her, including active mage sight? Yeah. So roll Gnosis plus, I guess you're using time currently.
To contest it? It wouldn't be
Yeah, specifically because incognito presence calls out beings using supernatural abilities to concentrate on her, or in this case, because I imagine you're going to look at what is happening, because from your perspective, you watched Shane picked up and thrown almost bodily
Yeah.
into an alleyway. So yeah, Gnosis plus time, yeah. And then because you have, oh, that's interesting, because post-cognition is the thing that you're using to, so that extra duration is going to assist if we bumped it up to a week, so that's a +1. Yeah.
So it's Gnosis plus time plus 1.
Yes.
I think it's +2.
Is it +1 for just a scene?
I think it's because it's scene, day,
Oh,
week, month,
yeah.
year,
I
right?
skipped one. Yeah,
and
so
it's
+2.
year and definite, that's +4. So I think
Mhm.
week is +2.
3
Ooh,
successes.
that's not bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So from your perspective, you do not see what is grabbing hold, but clearly somebody is or something is having an interaction, because from your perspective, watching Shane suddenly grabbed and then pulled into an alleyway, and just his body kind of goes limp, and it's a very odd, because you're seeing something grabbing but can't quite lay your eyes on it, and being he's dragging heels dragging on the ground into this kind of
Not
alleyway.
invisible, I just can't see it.
Right. Mhm.
Right? Okay.
Right. It's, your eyes keep sliding off. You can tell somebody's there, but you can't get your attention on them. And yeah, is dragged back. There's this, especially incognito presence, it's probably, this has been a not great session for Gisela's hearing things, right? And it's this garbled speech, and it's like somebody's definitely talking, but I can't make out anything. It's just more incognito presence, right? And he's dragged through this alleyway and then thrown into the back of what looks like, I guess it'd be back then, the paddy wagon or some, other kind of police-esque vehicle for detaining somebody who's, under arrest. And that is carted off, and so you're suddenly in the interior of it. There's more garbled speech as he is laid out on the bottom of this paddy wagon and unloaded out away. It, maybe an hour of travel, because you took the scrubbing, and dragged down into a room that probably does match Legba's description of it, tied to a chair. And I don't know how much Gisela puts up with it, but you watch him kind of come to, and there is a man who basically starts to, no longer hidden by incognito presence, because that Shane couldn't see him, and starts to say, "So, how did you return back to New York City?" And Shane, kind of looking up and trying to assess the room, realizes that he's tied to a chair, and says, "I was brought here by a black man," though he probably doesn't actually say black man, named Legba, and I went from there to New York City in a step. Like he is admitting this very clearly and freely, but it's definitely a still not 100% sure that wasn't just a fever dream kind of thing. And there's a voice that says, "Interesting. And where were you before?" Purgatory Bluff. Interesting. Tell me everything about Purgatory Bluff.
Great.
Yep. It's fine, because anybody who's wanting to do something bad in Purgatory Bluff can't get here. And yes, I do know this is totally a Mr. Graves situation, but I was like, but fuck, this is exactly what happened.
Why won't you guys go on my cool treasure hunt?
I know. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. I will tell you out of character, please just go forward with the treasure hunt. Poor Chris.
Oh yeah, we're going.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can deal with this while we're on the treasure hunt.
That's true. Yeah, you can do some research and stuff like that. So, but that is 9 o'clock. So that is the end. Yeah, he definitely is not going to be remembering most of this. Make this villain one of Mr. Graves' ancestors. Man, that does
hilarious.
seem kind of appropriate. He is up in New York too. Shit. But I don't do callbacks. That's a lie. I totally do callbacks. But yeah, this character probably not so
Not going to take us to the shameless pandering planet.
Right. Shout outs to Moku. And call forward. That's correct. This is a call forward. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling, and
Lord, I was born a brambling man.
God, I love you all. Thank you for putting up with my bullshit. So yes, thank you all out there for also putting up with my bullshit and coming along with this wacky magical shenanigans. And as always, if you want to support us monetarily, that's patreon.com/occultistanonymous or just staylucky.club. That'll take you right to it. If you want to join us in Discord, I highly suggest it. That's www.eatinto.space. Come hang out, enjoy the community. It is one of the best communities out there. It is the best mage community. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, I'll fight. You all know who you are. Bring it on. I'll fight you. My community beats your community.
With enough Patreon subscribers, we will have Drew and Ravnius fight live on stream.
Ooh. We didn't say how we would fight, but we'll do it. 1v1 me in CSGO.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Had to roll our dual arcane. I rolled 6 successes. All right. But yes, I highly suggest if you're interested in Mage at all, if you're interested in TTRPGs at all, if you're introduced in cute, absolutely gorgeous dogs and puppies and snakes, come by Discord. We love to know about your pets. I'll be honest, if you want to come in, you don't want to talk about yourself, you don't want to talk about your TTRPG, but you want to gush about your fur babies, we're here for you. We promise.
Welcome.
Yeah.
A deal.
Yeah. Please come by. Oh yes, again, a quick little shout out. Check out the Story Told podcast on Twitch, and I think they're going to do stuff on YouTube too. But I know for Twitch for sure, they're doing the Body Electric, a Promethean actual play, Promethean the Created actual play. Super exciting. February 4th is their session 0 and character creation. So if you're even remotely interested in that splat, do check it out. It's really good. Excuse me, the splat is. I don't know if the show is any good. We haven't started it yet, so I can't say that. But I watched their little like hangout and stuff like that. It was very cool. And I don't know if I'll ever run Promethean, but if you want a very like positive vibe World of Darkness, I mean, the stuff can get rough, but the whole goal is like by progressing forward, you become more human. That's kind of the goal, as opposed to Mage, where you become less human, vampires become less human, werewolves become less human. They move away. The whole guiding point of Promethean is to become human. And if hey, you did it, become a real boy, girl, or
Therapy, the awakening.
You get your happy ending.
Yep. With a soul and everything, and make a bunch of mages go, that's illegal.
I'm definitely gonna check it out because I have read through that book cover to cover and I enjoy it, but I have no goddamn idea how you do a chronicle of it, full of Prometheans, right?
Yep.
And so disparate. So I'm very curious to see what kind of characters they'll have. And
it's going to be very
check
good.
it out.
Yep. So yeah, check them out. Twitch guys, that's basically what we're live. But YouTube guys, hey, there's VODs, and yes, it will be on YouTube. So cool. Yeah, so check them out.
You can shout them out with a link on Discord if we have those links for video and stuff.
Yep. I think that's all I had. I felt like there was something else, but I guess that's it. So we'll catch you all next time.
All right. See y'all later.